Hi, it's Josh Harpst with Genesis Real Estate, and I wanted to take a moment to talk a little bit about a question I get asked the most, and that is, have we hit the bottom? Has Boise's home prices gone as low as they're going to go? Let's take a look at a couple of numbers, and we can all base an opinion on that. Let's look at 2022, right? 2022 started with low interest rates. It was still booming from the post-COVID rush. Things were still shaking and moving. Inventory was very low. People were coming in very much over asking price to buy properties, and we had a climax there in April and May for both Canyon and Ada County. Okay, we had Ada top out at 602 median home price, and we had Canyon top out at 476. Since then, they have dropped to 515 for Ada and 390 for Canyon. That's about 14.5% for Ada and 18% for Canyon County. So that's a significant drop. Now, when we first started turning, I remember Business Insider put out an article that called Boise the most inflated market in America. That was a very scary article because I remember the Great Recession. So when you remember that, you think, oh, is that what we're headed for, right? Probably, the biggest variable of that change in 2022 was the interest rate. We know that we've been suffering hyperinflation. We wanted the housing market to slow down. The Fed wanted the housing market to slow down. They said, let's raise the interest rate. So they did that. And we actually have two extremely not so fun factoids from 2022. With the first one being that it is the first time that a 30-year interest rate has doubled in a calendar year. It went from 3 to 6 essentially. It is also the fastest rise in interest rates that we've ever seen since we started tracking them 50 years ago. So that interest rate has been the largest variable. When it comes to borrowing money to buy a house, the amount you can borrow is based on what you can spend each month. So let's look at that for a second. If I'm in Ada County and my median home price is $515, and let's say that I've got about $1,300 in bills, let's say car payment, some student loans, some, whatever other bills, I'm being pretty generous, $1,300 a month, and I want to put maybe 5% down on this house, which is about $25,000, my lender is going to require that I make $170,000. I may get qualified around $150,000, but knowing that the median income for Ada County is just over $70,000. So those clearly don't match up yet. If I look at Canyon County, it's a very similar story. Their median income, I think, is $54,000, just over $54,000, with the same bills, same interest rate, and the interest rate I'm calculating is about 6.125%. They're looking at having to make about $140,000 to buy their median home price. So the income levels definitely do not match up with the current pricing. So with that being said, we know that a lot of our pricing has come from the influx of folks. We also know that, another article came out in December that said we were one of only 4 markets in the U.S. to have our median price less than what it was a year ago. That was interesting, but I didn't find it fulfilling because I feel like there had to have been more than 4 markets that had gotten inflated post-COVID, right? With all the shuffling around, the low interest rates and everybody moving around. I felt like there has to be more than 4 inflated markets. So that kind of brings me to my very last article I want to reference. There was a Forbes article that came out a couple weeks ago, and it basically said they expect Boise to be the 6th worst performing market in 2023, with us to decrease like 5 to 7%. So if that's true, then our 14.5% dip in 22 was the worst of it, right? If it's not true, then we potentially fall further, right? We don't know that answer quite yet. We do know that as of today, which is February 1st, 2023, that we did experience, or we did hear today that the Fed was going to hike the rates here very shortly. So with that being said, I'm curious to hear what you think. If you've watched this video all the way through, if you're here now listening to me, please leave a comment on your opinion. My personal opinion is that we will see values probably settle a little more in 2023. But I guess we'll find out as we cruise along. For any other questions about the real estate market, please feel free to contact me. My information is attached somewhere on this video. Thanks, guys.